Accessibility to the main service disconnect in apartment complexes is crucial for several reasons. Firstly, safety is a primary concern. In case of emergencies such as a fire or a flood, tenants need to be able to quickly disconnect the power to their apartment. This rapid disconnection can prevent potential electrical hazards, protecting both people and property. Secondly, maintenance necessitates accessibility. Utilities and electricians often require access to the main service disconnect for various tasks. These tasks may include repairs, upgrades to the electrical system, or routine inspections to ensure the system is functioning correctly and safely. Thirdly, code compliance is a significant factor. Most electrical codes mandate accessible main service disconnects. These regulations are put in place to ensure safety and facilitate maintenance, aligning with the reasons already mentioned. The presence of a main breaker within the apartment panel serves its own set of purposes. Firstly, convenience is a key benefit. Tenants can easily disconnect the power to their apartment directly from the panel without needing to access the main service disconnect located elsewhere. Secondly, isolation is achieved. The apartment main breaker effectively isolates the electrical system within the apartment from the rest of the building's electrical network. This isolation can be useful during maintenance or electrical troubleshooting within the apartment, preventing disruptions to other units. Considering these factors, a compromise solution can address both safety requirements and tenant convenience. This compromise involves installing a main disconnect outside the apartment unit. This external disconnect is accessible to both tenants and maintenance personnel. This disconnect is connected directly to the meter and the service entrance, providing a readily accessible point for complete power disconnection in emergencies or for maintenance purposes. Inside the apartment unit, a sub-panel with its own main breaker is installed. This sub-panel offers tenants convenient access to disconnect power specifically to their apartment. The sub-panel allows for localized control and disconnection within the unit, without affecting the entire building's electrical supply. This dual approach ensures that tenants have accessibility to a main disconnect in case of emergency situations, addressing safety concerns, and provides the convenience of a sub-panel with its own main breaker within their apartment, offering localized control and ease of use. Therefore, it balances safety requirements with practical convenience for residents. Let's elaborate further on specific code requirements and practical installation considerations. It is essential to consult the latest edition of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and local electrical codes for specific regulations applicable to apartment complexes in your area. These codes provide detailed guidelines in the placement, type, and accessibility of service disconnects, ensuring compliance and safety. The NEC dictates the maximum distance a tenant should have to travel to reach the main disconnect, which varies based on the occupancy and building type. It is also essential to ensure that the disconnect is clearly labeled and easily identifiable, even in low-light conditions. When installing the main disconnect outside the apartment, consider factors such as weather protection, security, and ease of access. The disconnect should be housed in a weatherproof enclosure to protect it from rain, snow, and other environmental elements. It should also be secured to prevent unauthorized access, such as through a locking mechanism. Adequate lighting around the disconnect can improve visibility, particularly at night. The sub-panel within the apartment should be sized appropriately for the anticipated load of the apartment. This involves calculating the total amperage required by all appliances, lighting, and other electrical devices within the unit. It is also important to consider future load growth when determining the sub-panel size to accommodate potential additions or changes in electrical usage. The sub-panel should be installed in a readily accessible location within the apartment, such as a utility closet or near the main entrance. It should not be obstructed by furniture or other items that could impede access. The wiring between the main disconnect and the sub-panel must be sized appropriately to handle the anticipated load. This involves selecting the correct wire gauge based on the amperage and voltage requirements of the circuit. It is also important to use the appropriate type of wiring for the application, such as THHN or XHHW, and to follow all applicable codes and standards for wiring installation. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. The main disconnect and sub-panel should be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping the circuit breaker and preventing electrical shock hazards. Bonding ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are at the same potential, reducing the risk of electrical shock. Regular inspection and maintenance of the electrical system are crucial for ensuring its continued safe and reliable operation. This includes periodically checking the main disconnect and sub-panel for any signs of damage, such as corrosion, loose connections, or overheating. Circuit breakers should be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly and will trip in the event of an overload or short circuit. It is also important to keep the area around the main disconnect and sub-panel clear of obstructions and to ensure that all electrical components are properly labeled. Consider adding surge protection at both the main disconnect and the sub-panel. Surge protectors can help protect sensitive electronic equipment from damage caused by voltage spikes and surges. Surge protection is particularly important in areas with frequent lightning storms or unreliable power grids. Educate tenants about the location and operation of the main disconnect and sub-panel. Provide them with clear instructions on how to disconnect the power in case of an emergency and how to reset trip circuit breakers. It is also important to advise tenants not to overload circuits or tamper with the electrical system. Ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified and licensed electricians. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by individuals who have the necessary training and experience. Using qualified electricians ensures that the work is done safely and in accordance with applicable codes and standards. Document all electrical work performed, including permits, inspections, and test results. This documentation can be valuable for future maintenance and troubleshooting. It can also be required by insurance companies or regulatory agencies. Stay up to date on the latest electrical codes and standards. Electrical codes are constantly evolving to reflect new technologies and safety concerns. It is important to stay informed about these changes to ensure that your electrical system is compliant and safe. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that the electrical system in your apartment complex is safe, reliable, and convenient for both tenants and maintenance personnel. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, so always consult with a qualified electrician before performing any modifications or repairs. Now let's discuss the implications of not having accessible main service disconnects and the potential consequences of non-compliance. The primary risk associated with inaccessible main service disconnects is compromised safety. In emergency situations such as electrical fires or flooding, the inability to quickly disconnect power can exacerbate the hazard. Energized electrical equipment in contact with water poses a severe electrocution risk, endangering both tenants and first responders. Delayed disconnection can also allow fires to spread more rapidly, leading to increased property damage and potential loss of life. Inadequate access for maintenance and repairs can lead to deferred maintenance and unresolved electrical issues. If utility workers or electricians cannot easily access the main disconnect, necessary repairs or upgrades may be delayed or neglected. This can result in a gradual deterioration of the electrical system, increasing the risk of failures, power outages, and safety hazards. Electrical code violations can result in significant penalties, including fines, legal action, and mandatory corrective measures. Building owners and managers are responsible for ensuring that their electrical systems comply with all applicable codes and regulations. Failure to do so can expose them to substantial liability and reputational damage. Insurance coverage may be affected by non-compliance with electrical codes. Insurance companies may deny claims for damages caused by electrical incidents if the electrical system is not in compliance with applicable codes and standards. This can leave building owners and managers financially responsible for the full cost of repairs and damages. Tenant safety and well-being are paramount. Providing accessible main service disconnects demonstrates a commitment to tenant safety and promotes a sense of security. Conversely, neglecting this aspect can undermine tenant trust and create a perception of negligence. Building value and marketability can be influenced by the condition and safety of the electrical system. Well-maintained and code-compliant electrical systems enhance the value and marketability of apartment complexes. Potential buyers and tenants are more likely to be attracted to properties that prioritize safety and reliability. Conversely, properties with outdated or non-compliant electrical systems may be less desirable and command lower prices. To avoid these potential consequences, building owners and managers should proactively address any issues related to main service disconnect accessibility. This includes conducting regular inspections, identifying and correcting any deficiencies, and ensuring that all electrical work is performed by qualified and licensed electricians. Consulting with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector can help to assess the existing electrical system and identify any areas of non-compliance. They can also provide recommendations for upgrades or modifications to improve safety and accessibility. Implementing a comprehensive electrical safety program can help to prevent electrical incidents and ensure ongoing compliance with applicable codes and standards. This program should include regular training for tenants and staff on electrical safety procedures, as well as routine inspections and maintenance of the electrical system. Maintaining detailed records of all electrical work performed, including permits, inspections, and test results, is essential for demonstrating compliance and facilitating future maintenance and troubleshooting. These records should be readily accessible and organized in a manner that allows for easy retrieval. By taking these steps, building owners and managers can mitigate the risks associated with inaccessible main service disconnects and ensure the safety and well-being of their tenants. Proactive measures and a commitment to code compliance are essential for maintaining a safe and reliable electrical system in any apartment complex. Now, let's shift our focus to specific considerations for older apartment complexes. Upgrading electrical systems in older apartment complexes presents unique challenges compared to new construction. Existing wiring may be outdated or inadequate to handle modern electrical loads. Older buildings may also have limited space for new electrical equipment, such as larger panels or disconnects. Identifying and addressing these challenges is crucial for ensuring a safe and reliable electrical system. A thorough assessment of the existing electrical system is the first step. This assessment should include a visual inspection of the wiring, panels, and disconnects, as well as testing to determine the capacity and condition of the system. The assessment should also identify any code violations or safety hazards. Upgrading the main service entrance may be necessary to provide adequate capacity for the building's electrical needs. This may involve replacing the existing service entrance conductors, meter, and disconnect with larger components. The upgrade should be performed by a qualified electrician and comply with all applicable codes and standards. Replacing outdated wiring is essential for improving safety and reliability. Older wiring may be brittle, corroded, or improperly insulated, increasing the risk of electrical shock and fire. Replacing the wiring with new, code-compliant wiring can significantly reduce these risks. Adding new circuits may be necessary to accommodate modern electrical loads. Older apartments may have a limited number of circuits, which can lead to overloading and tripping of circuit breakers. Adding new circuits can provide additional capacity and prevent these problems. Installing arc fault circuit interrupters, or RFCIs, and ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, can provide enhanced protection against electrical shock and fire. RFCIs detect arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires, and GFCIs detect ground faults, which can cause electrical shock. These devices can be installed in new or existing circuits and provide an extra layer of safety. Ensuring proper grounding and bonding is crucial for electrical safety. Older buildings may have inadequate grounding systems, which can increase the risk of electrical shock. Upgrading the grounding system to meet current code requirements can significantly improve safety. Improving lighting efficiency can reduce energy consumption and lower utility bills. Replacing incandescent or fluorescent lighting with LED lighting can significantly reduce energy use and provide better illumination. Providing accessible main service disconnects is essential for safety and convenience. Older buildings may not have accessible disconnects, which can make it difficult to disconnect power in case of an emergency. Installing new disconnects in readily accessible locations can improve safety and convenience. Consider the aesthetics of the electrical upgrades. Electrical upgrades do not have to be unsightly. New panels and disconnects can be installed in recessed enclosures or hidden behind decorative panels. Wiring can be run in conduit or concealed within walls to minimize its visibility. Obtain all necessary permits and inspections. Electrical work typically requires permits and inspections to ensure that it is performed safely and in compliance with applicable codes and standards. Working with a qualified electrician can help to ensure that all necessary permits are obtained and that the work passes inspection. Document all electrical upgrades. Keeping records of all electrical upgrades, including permits, inspections, and test results, can be valuable for future maintenance and troubleshooting. These records can also be required by insurance companies or regulatory agencies. Upgrading electrical systems in older apartment complexes can be a complex and challenging process. However, by carefully assessing the existing system, addressing any deficiencies, and following all applicable codes and standards, it is possible to create a safe, reliable, and efficient electrical system.